My name is Kartik and my channel is about mental models. I hope you're enjoying my videos. If you are, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And as always, please like and share this video with everyone you know. In this video, I'm going to be talking about groupthink. Groupthink is a type of cognitive bias, and as the name suggests, manifests itself when group dynamics can influence decision making. People may become influenced by the opinions and actions of others when operating in a group. As a result of this, poor outcomes are reached because of a desire of harmony. People may suppress dissenting opinions in a bid to prioritize fitting in over rational thought. This also means that there is a greater likelihood of people wanting to reach a consensus. Lots of buzzwords. Reach a consensus rather than reaching the best view, which rational thought is more likely to achieve. A possibility of this groupthink is also fragmentation of the group into different factions. So you can have sort of a number of people that sort of break off, and they both groups have differing views, both factions have differing views, and members of each faction are more likely to exaggerate their viewpoint in order to swing the middle ground. So as you can imagine, there is a drive towards consensus, which is the perceived middle ground, and so by having very extreme and exaggerated viewpoints, the middle ground is being swung one way or the other, depending on which group's exaggerations are being which group's exaggerations are influencing others better. Groupthink is more prevalent when there is a sense of urgency or a strong leader. It also occurs when there is a highly cohesive group of people. That's a sort of another word. Let's put it down here. Cohesive group of people. And this is going back to the sort of notion of wanting to fit in. And so group decisions, having said that, group decisions are not always a bad thing and are not always worse than the decisions of individuals. I mean, I've sort of been giving the view up till now that, well, there's this groupthink cognitive bias, so when you're operating in a group, it's not going to be that good. There's all of this at play, exaggerated views, etc. But group decisions are not always bad. Having said all of that before, group decisions are not always bad. And the decisions of groups are not always worse than the decisions of individuals, because people tend to have one perspective and rarely possess all the information. And so aggregating viewpoints can lead to a more balanced decision. But this will only work if there is good information dispersed between its members and the right members are attending the meeting. And above all, it will only work if all perspectives are heard equally and considered. Groupthink takes place because, not only because of people working in groups, but sort of taking a step back, groupthink takes place because people are constantly being influenced or are influencing others when they come into contact with each other. And so there are instances where we want to fit into a group, not because our views have changed, but because the force to fit in is actually more powerful than what we would like to admit. Another reason is where our beliefs are being or have been genuinely changed by the beliefs and opinions of those around us. And so we have been influenced, and that has changed our viewpoint. So there is that also. That is also a cause of groupthink. In the context of corporate groupthink, both forms of this form of social influence, like fitting in and beliefs being genuinely changed, both forms of social influence can play a part, and the presence of a strong leader can also play a part and sort of make it even more prevalent. There are other ways too, I've just mentioned two, but there are other ways too of being influenced, such as identification, but I won't go into this and we'll keep this video deliberately light. So the question remains, how do we overcome this bias? Well, let's look at a few techniques. People should be able to discuss the problem that they are already discussing in a group with trusted people outside of the group, and then be able to report that information and those other outside of the group discussions back to the group, so sort of like feedback. Secondly, rather than having a single large group, having many smaller groups to discuss the problem, which is then taken back to the plenary session, to back to the bigger group. And this would increase the chance of capturing multiple viewpoints. Number 3, having second chance meetings. So what I mean by this is, once a preliminary decision has been reached, having a further meeting with group members gives them a chance to restate their residual doubts, if any. They might have thought of something a bit later on after a decision was reached. And finally, number 4, anonymity. This is where group members can make suggestions or raise concerns anonymously. So you still have the meeting, but let's say you sort of write your concerns on a card or suggestions on a card, and then that gets sort of taken back together with everyone else's, and it's mixed in a pot, and then you sort of read it out. And so people have the ability to highlight issues, raise concerns, make suggestions without the sort of the worry of fitting in or raising something contentious. And so this makes the likelihood greater of highlighting issues or risks which may have been lost in order to establish a middle ground. Now, there are, of course, further ways and lots more ways to overcome this bias, but I will leave it here because these are the key ones for me. Another thing to mention just generally is we should be aware of this bias of groupthink, and without the awareness that something like this can exist, you're always going to sort of be vulnerable or susceptible to groupthink and sort of play into groupthink rather than think more rationally or bring out contentious views where they are needed. And there you have the groupthink cognitive bias. And that's all for this video. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please check out some of my other videos flashing on screen now. I'm sure you'll like them too. And I will see you in the next video with another mental model. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.